Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and today I would like to talk about Skyrim again, and particularly I'd like to address a very big topic, the topic about the two joinable factions, the Imperials and the Stormcloak. Now, I think that everyone who plays this game, all players of Skyrim, eventually have to take their position. I mean, we do know that this game is a very high replay value, and you could at the end of the day play both with two different characters, for example. But I think that at the end of the day, you do need to make your stand and defend it eventually. And quite a few fellow YouTubers have taken their position, taken their stances, and talked about this. And of course, I think that it's also my time to do that. So to let you know, where does the Metatron stand? Whether I stand for the Imperials or whether I stand for the Stormcloak. So before I do that, I'd like to do a little introduction about these two factions, and then I'll let you know which one I have decided to join and why. Now, beginning with the Imperials. Now, when we begin the game, we need to consider that Skyrim is a province of the Empire. Now, the Imperial Legion believes that as a province of the Empire, Skyrim must abide by its laws and customs, including the provisions in the White Gold Concordate. Now, the Stormcloaks instead oppose both the Imperial Legion and the White Gold Concordate. So, the concept is that basically what the Stormcloaks are seeking is to secede from what they feel is a crumbling empire. Now, the White Gold Concordate is basically an agreement that was signed by the empire which ended the Great War of the Fourth Era. Now, this Great War was fought between the empire, which was basically human dominated, and the Eldmeri Dominion. Now, the exact causes of this conflict are not specified, but we do understand from a few quotes in the game that the Elven supremacist government, the Thalmor, were the aggressors. Now, this concordate does not only have political aspects, but also religious aspects, because we need to consider that among its legislations we have the outlawing of the worshipping of Tullius. So basically this spawns this inquisition perpetrated by the Thalmor, who hunt down all the worshippers of this outlawed deity. So in all this, where do I, the Metatron, stand? I shall now solemnly declare that I, the Metatron, have chosen to support the Empire. So, to those of you in my community who belong to the Empire, I say, brethren, let us all join forces and fight together for the glory of the Empire. To those of you in my community who belong to the Stormcloaks, I say, within the world of Skyrim, I shall respect thee as my worthy opponent, and if thy arm shall prove stronger than mine, I shall face the end honourably. I would like to now defend and examine my choice by examining a few aspects of each faction, beginning with its leaders. Now, General Tullius. General Tullius is an Imperial, so he's originally from Cyrodiil, and he has been sent to Skyrim by the Emperor himself to quell the uprising of the Stormcloaks. He's the Imperial commander of the 4th Legion and the military governor of Skyrim. I like him as a character, and I think he's a good leader. Also, although he's an Imperial, he doesn't particularly like the Eldmeri and the Thalmor. So if you don't like those factions, you can still work for him, because, I mean, he doesn't like them either. For his looks, I think he looks quite solid. A strong warrior. I don't particularly appreciate the shortcut. I prefer warriors with long hair. However, he's got a nice set of unique armor, and I'm the Metatron after all. I'm obsessed with armor. Ulfric Stormcloak is the leader of the rebellion, the Stormcloak, and he's also the Jarl of Windhelm. Now, this character is a little bit enigmatic, because in the game he is labelled both as a hero and or as an opportunist. Now, personally, I think that he truly believes in what he's doing, so I don't think he's an opportunist. But on the other hand, there are a couple of things that I don't like about this character. Well, the first thing I don't like the fact that he's so racist against elves, and mainly all races that are not Nord, but particularly for the elves. And the reason being that when I play the Elder Scrolls, particularly Skyrim, but any role-playing game anyways, I play as an elf. So normally I play high elves. So you can understand that, working for someone who keeps on saying things that against, like racist comments and things against elves, is not possible if you want to role-play your game, and I do. So basically this is one of the main thing that kind of turned me off from him as a leader, although I have to say that he does have a much better haircut than Tullius. Now, talking about the cities linked to each faction, I think that the cities are also important because you end up spending quite a bit of time in the city of your faction, of your chosen faction, to take missions and so forth. Now, in the case of the Empire, you have the city of Solitude. Now, Solitude is the city and the capital city of both the whole Skyrim and of Hafengar Hold. Now, I really like this city. I think it looks fantastic. I remember the first time I got here, it was great. I got there, should I say. It was great because I really liked the way all the shops were organized and how you go under those bridges made of solid rock. Now, Solitude is located on the eastern coast of the peninsula in Hafengar, in the far northwest of Skyrim, and it's built on a cape on the mouth of the Karth River. And I really like this, the idea that it's built on a cape. You also have a river underneath it, where it has its own port. It is basically the northernmost city on the mainland, second only to Dawnstar. Now, obviously, when we talk about the Stormcloaks, we also need to talk about their city, which is Windhelm. Now, Windhelm is also known as the City of Kings, and we do know that, differently from Solitude, it is located in the northeastern part of Skyrim, and it's the capital of Eastmarch Hold. Now, as a city, it's very imposing, and I think it's very charming, and regardless of the incredible weather you have all the time. I mean, you always have this very strong, ongoing snow storm all the time. But that's not really what the problem I have with this city. I like the city, but I don't like the inner political situation. The way the Dark Elves, for example, are treated here are again an image, a big situation of racism that I don't particularly like to support. So considering how people here are very closed-minded, I think that I would definitely prefer to live in a place like Solitude. Now, before we move on with the other points, I do want to say something about a specific thing that most people who support Stormcloak will say to players who choose the Empire, and that is the fact that at the beginning of the game, of course, you don't really have the best meeting with the Empire, considering that they try to execute you. Now, the thing is, though, that I don't think that that's a problem with the Empire itself as a whole. It's a problem with that specific captain, the woman that decides, says, that puts you to death. Because as a matter of fact, when you're first there queuing, waiting to be executed, the guard, the Imperial guard there, the soldier, he actually says that you're not on the list, and he says, what shall we do? So at the end of the day, it's her decision, it's all on her, and she gets what she deserves after all. So as far as I'm concerned, after killing her, I had no problems with the Empire whatsoever. I kill her, and they don't seem to have a problem with that. So, good for you, good for me. Now, another important aspect, as far as I'm concerned, when I play role-playing games, is the kind of equipment that I get through missions. Now, joining a faction also means that you do get the equipment of that faction, and you also fight along people dressed up that way as a kind of a uniform. Now, as far as the Stormcloaks are concerned, I'm sorry, but I don't particularly like the style. I like the mail armor that they have, so that's okay, that's a good point, but I don't particularly like the kind of gambeson that they wear on top of the armor instead of underneath. Although that did happen occasionally in the Middle Ages, perhaps, we're not really sure because you can't really understand through iconography, but definitely not really padded ones, I don't think. And I don't like the looks anyways. The helmets, oh gosh, forget about it. I don't like those helmets and those fur gauntlets. No, I'm not really into that. On the other hand, the Empire has much better looking armors. They kind of look in between a Roman armor and some kind of medieval armor. So it's like in between, and I like it. You also have quite a few different kinds of helmets and armor, and that is precisely the point. We're not only talking about the looks. When joining this faction, 3 different armor sets can be chosen: light, medium or heavy. Now the Legion's armor generally has a greater defense compared to the Stormcloaks. So as far as I'm concerned, as I said, I really like armor. This faction gives me a choice between 3 different kinds of armor, and they will be more effective than the ones for the other faction. Sorry, but that's good enough for me. Now the next reason, I'm going to talk about something that will happen at Whiterun. Now so this is actually a spoiler alert, so if you have not played the game and you don't want to know something quite important that will happen during the game in Whiterun, then please, I will give you now 5 seconds to let you skip this part and go to the actual minute where I will continue to talk. So I'll just give you 5 seconds now. Alright then, for all those who know the game and would like me to talk about this, then let's continue talking. Now Whiterun, as you know, it's one of the best cities that you can have in Skyrim and perhaps in video game history. I don't know, it feels very familiar. And one thing I really like about Whiterun is the Jarl. I really like the Jarl in Whiterun. He's a friend, he helps you all the time. When you help him, he's very respectful of you. It's just perfect. He never really did anything wrong. So if you play with the Empire, you will defend Whiterun from the attack of the Stormcloaks, and ultimately you will help him. But if you join the other faction, the Stormcloak, you will conquer Whiterun and basically remove him from his seat, from his throne. And I don't like doing that. It makes I wouldn't do it if it was really me there. So actual role playing again. Then I wouldn't do it. Just wouldn't go against him. So that was one of the main things that really made me think about it when I played with my second character who belonged to the Stormcloak, and I just stopped there, saved the game and went back to my main character and kept on playing as an Imperial, because I definitely prefer the idea of me as a protector of Whiterun and the Jarl rather than an attacker or someone who sieges it and just kind of betrays a friend for, yes, important political reasons, but still not for me. Now lastly, the real final reason why I've chosen to serve and work for the Empire is because I have been doing that since Oblivion, really. Because if you think about it, I mean, when you work for the Emperor at first and then for the Blades and all that, now of course the Blades have been basically obliterated and almost by the Thalmor. So I do realize that now, after the gold concordate, the white gold concordate, now the Blades are considered outlaw. However, I have worked for the Empire back in the time of Oblivion, so it kind of feels nostalgic to continue working for the Empire after the 200 years. These 200 years have passed. And also, I mean, the Dragonborn, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the Dragonborn has got the powers of the dragons, and wasn't it like something similar with the Septims dynasty of the emperors? So I think it kind of makes sense. From I still understand people who want to work and choose the other faction, because they're also very nice. I like both, but at the end of the day, I think that this faction is the best one for me if I really want to roleplay my elf, who is also a Dragonborn. Alright then, from the Metatron Dovahkiin version, it is all today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please keep on enjoying this fantastic game. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, the Metatron has spread its wings.